Sometimes people become worried about a child in a family or about a baby who is about to be born. They might have worries about how the parent is coping or about whether the child is safe, healthy and being well looked after. The person who is worried may be someone in the child's family, or it may be a worker like a midwife or a school teacher. If someone is worried about a child, they can tell Children's Services. This is called making a referral. For example, someone could be worried that a child or someone in their family is going through a crisis, a child needs extra help and support, or that a child is being harmed. Your local Children's Services employ children and family social workers. Their job is to support children and keep children well and safe from harm. You can ask for help as soon as you think your child needs it, not just when things get really difficult. If there are worries about a child, a social worker may contact the parent and visit them.
Hi, I'm Sarah. I'm a children and family social worker. Can I come in?
Can I see your ID, please?
Sure.
Thank you.
When you first meet a social worker, you might feel worried or scared. You may feel worried about letting the social worker into your house. Many parents feel scared that a social worker may take their child away. Social workers should always work with your family to keep your child safe and at home where possible. Social workers cannot remove your child from you unless the family court has approved a plan for that to happen, or if someone with parental responsibility for your child has agreed that the social worker can arrange for your child to live somewhere else. For example, with another family member or in a foster home. The police have the power to remove a child to a place of safety in an emergency. This is called police protection. Social workers may ask the police to use police protection if they are worried that a child is in immediate danger, but they do not have the time to apply to the court. When a child is removed by the police under police protection, they will ask Children's Services to look after the child. If social workers do not think it will be safe for the child to return home after 72 hours, they will apply to the court for an order.
Yeah, that's okay, yeah, you can come.
Great, thank you.
Remember that the social worker is there to see how you and your child are doing. The social worker should start off by explaining what their role is and why they are visiting you.
My role is to work with children and families and see if they need any help and support. I'm here because Emma's school are a bit worried about her often arriving late and hungry and how you're coping at home at the moment. Let's have a bit of a chat about how you're getting on and what life is like for Emma.
The social worker may tell you they want to do something called an assessment. The point of an assessment is to understand whether your child is safe, healthy and is being well looked after, and to find out what support your child and family might need. You may not want a social worker to do an assessment. You may feel that things are okay or that you do not need support. You may also want to know if you have a choice about whether the assessment goes ahead. Sometimes having a social worker from Children's Services to do an assessment for your child is voluntary. This means that a social worker or another worker will do an assessment only if you as the child's parent agrees. A child in need assessment is an example of this. But if Children's Services are worried that your child may be at risk of harm, a social worker can do an assessment even if you do not want this to happen. This is called a child protection inquiry. If the assessment is a child protection inquiry, the social worker will also try to understand whether your child is being harmed and what action is needed to keep your child safe. No matter what type of assessment happens, the social worker should always explain what the assessment is and whether you can say yes or no to it, what the worries about your child are, how you, your child and others in your family will be involved, what the assessment will look at and how it will be carried out, how long it will take and what will happen next. Remember, if you do not understand anything, you can ask the social worker to go over it again, because it is important that you understand.
Sorry, what actually happens in an assessment, and could you just say it again, please?
That's okay. It's my job to make sure you know what is happening. So we'd start off by...
As part of an assessment, the social worker may want to visit you at home again. This may happen more than once. They may want to talk to your child separately to understand what life is like for them. In most situations, the social worker should ask you first before this happens. You can ask the social worker questions about this, for example, why they want to speak to your child. If you need some extra support when you meet the social worker, that is okay. You may find it helpful to ask a friend or a family member to be there when the social worker visits, or when you have meetings. This may help you feel more relaxed and confident. So, how should social workers work with children, parents, and families? The social worker should not blame you or judge you. The social worker should talk to you about your strengths as a parent.
It's great to see you getting Emma's breakfast ready.
Yeah, thanks.
Let's have a think about how we can make sure she gets to school on time every day. What do you think will help?
I've run out of money end of the month, and I do struggle with fares, and could you help me with that?
The social worker should take the time to talk to you, to learn more about your child's life and to learn more about your daily life as a parent. They should ask you about other people in your life, like your friends, family, and neighbours. They should find out about the ways these people support you and the ways they may be able to support you more. The social worker will want to talk to other workers you know to get more information about you and your child. They should ask you first if you would be okay with this. For example, they might ask you if they can talk to your child's teacher, your doctor, midwife, or health visitor. They should try and find out what help and support you would like and what you think would work best for you.
What support do you think would be helpful for us to give you?
I struggle to help Emma with her reading. How could you help me with that?
Sure, maybe I can speak to her teacher about some support that we can put in place.
The social worker should try and put this support in place for you as soon as you need it. You do not need to wait for the assessment to be over. They should work with other people to help you. Sometimes the social worker may use words that you have not heard before. They may talk quickly or they might be in a rush. Many parents find this confusing. It can be difficult to understand what the social worker means or what might happen next. The social worker should use simple and clear words that you understand. If you do not understand something, you can ask them to go over it again.
Sorry, I don't understand that. Can you explain that again to me, please?
Sorry, of course I can. I'll try to be clearer this time. So let's start from the beginning and let's talk about what...
The social worker should share a report about your child with you when they finish the assessment. They may share other documents with you too. Many parents need help to understand these reports. Here are some ways that the social worker should help you to understand.
Here's an easy read version of my report. It uses words and pictures to explain what I've written. Let's go through the report together.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay. Do you understand what I've written? Is there anything you disagree with?
You may feel that a social worker is not listening to you. You may feel that you cannot get your thoughts and point of view across. Or you might feel scared or frustrated about what is being said and written about you. Remember, you can ask the social worker if they can get you an advocate. Advocates are independent, so they are separate from children's services. An advocate is someone who helps parents get their views across when dealing with social workers. For example, an advocate can help you write letters or make telephone calls for you, help you understand what is going on in reports and in meetings, or they can go to meetings with you to help you have your say.
So is it alright if Abby says something, please?
Sometimes you may feel like you want a different social worker to work with you and your child. This could be for a number of different reasons. You can speak to your social worker's manager to ask for a new social worker, and you can make a complaint if you have concerns about them. However, children's services do not have to change the social worker. If you are worried or confused about something the social worker has said or about what is happening, you can call Family Rights Group. Family Rights Group is a specialist charity that gives advice to parents and carers when there is a social worker involved with their child. You can call Family Rights Group on 0808 801 0366. Somebody will speak to you and help you to understand what is happening. This person is independent. This means they do not work for Children's Services.